Musicians and fans around the world paid tribute to Christine McVie, the hugely successful singer and songwriter with Fleetwood Mac, who passed away at the age of 79. Even 3 years after her passing, the story of Christine McVie continues to hold secrets many fans never truly knew. To the world, she appeared as the calm and steady heart of Fleetwood Mac, a woman whose gentle voice and timeless songs spoke of love, healing, and quiet emotional strength. Yet behind the music, the smiles, and the graceful public image existed deeply personal moments that quietly reshaped the course of her life and marriage forever. It was not marked by scandal or dramatic confrontation, but by a single emotional turning point that changed how she understood love, trust, and her own identity. That moment carried hidden pain which later echoed through her music, altering her marriage in ways few people noticed at the time. Christine and John McVie's love story once felt almost destined, as though music itself had drawn them together. Both lived within the same creative world, and long before their personal relationship began, Christine admired Fleetwood Mac from afar. When they married in 1968, their union seemed like a perfect harmony of romance and artistic partnership, built upon shared ambition, respect, and hope for the future. However, as Fleetwood Mac's success accelerated, the same musical world that united them slowly began pulling them apart. Endless touring schedules, exhausting recording sessions, and constant pressure to reinvent themselves left little space for emotional intimacy. Christine later reflected that although they were rarely physically apart, they became emotionally isolated, spending nearly every moment together while gradually feeling more alone than ever before. What once felt like closeness eventually became overwhelming. The growing fame of the band brought additional strain. The culture of excess surrounding the music industry during the 1970s entered their personal lives as well. Alcohol became both an escape and a source of conflict, intensifying tensions already present beneath the surface. By the mid-1970s, Fleetwood Mac had risen to global superstardom following the massive success of their 1975 self-titled album and the monumental triumph of Rumors in 1977. While audiences celebrated sold-out arenas and critical acclaim, Christine and John's marriage quietly unraveled behind the scenes. The breaking point came when Christine became involved with Cary Grant, the band's lighting director, a relationship that decisively altered her personal life. For John, the betrayal caused deep emotional wounds that never fully healed. Yet despite their collapsing marriage, both remained bound together professionally by the band that had made them famous. Christine later acknowledged that their relationship had already become fragile long before the separation. The split occurred during the emotionally volatile recording of Rumors, a period defined by exhaustion, distance, and blurred judgment. Alcohol clouded decisions, priorities shifted, and unresolved resentment eroded the connection they once shared. By 1976, Christine and John officially separated, but there was no escape from one another. Night after night, they performed on the same stages and worked in the same studios while Fleetwood Mac entered the most successful era of its career. Few former couples could endure such proximity after heartbreak, yet they continued through professionalism when emotions failed them. At the same time, other relationships within the band were also collapsing, creating an atmosphere where personal turmoil and musical brilliance existed side by side. During this painful period, Christine produced some of her most memorable work. Songs like You Make Loving Fun reflected a complicated mixture of hope, guilt, and emotional renewal. The warmth within the music contrasted sharply with the personal pain surrounding its creation. While the song became a massive success, it was emotionally difficult for John, who understood the inspiration behind it and was forced to perform it repeatedly before massive audiences. Their divorce was finalized in 1978, ending their marriage legally, but leaving emotional traces that lingered for decades. Despite everything, they remained bandmates, continuing to work together long afterward. Christine later admitted that coexistence was never easy, yet dedication to music demanded resilience beyond personal comfort, proving that heartbreak could sometimes be set aside in service of something greater. As Fleetwood Mac moved through its peak years, Christine's identity evolved beyond being simply part of the group. She established herself firmly as a songwriter and creative force in her own right. The arrival of Stevie Nicks further reshaped the band's dynamic, as both women helped redefine the role of female artists within a legendary rock group, not as supporting figures, but as creative leaders. Following her earlier relationship with Cary Grant, Christine entered another intense chapter through her romance with Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. She was drawn to his emotional openness and charisma despite his chaotic reputation. Christine later described him as deeply kind, yet dangerously self-destructive, capable of immense tenderness alongside instability. Their relationship was passionate but fragile. Wilson's struggles with addiction and reckless behavior ultimately made continuation impossible. Choosing to walk away became an act of emotional survival for Christine, though it left lingering affection and concern. Even amid personal turbulence, she remained a stabilizing presence within Fleetwood Mac, channeling her experiences into music marked by quiet vulnerability. Songs such as Hold Me, released in 1982, reflected longing, restraint, and the painful awareness that some love stories cannot endure. When Dennis Wilson died in 1983, the news deeply affected her despite their earlier separation. The loss reminded her once again that behind the band's enduring music were real lives shaped by love, damage, and survival under fame's relentless pressure. After years marked by heartbreak and emotional intensity, Christine cautiously allowed love back into her life during the mid-1980s. This time it arrived more gently through music itself when she met Portuguese-born keyboardist and songwriter Eddie Quintela. Their artistic collaboration gradually grew into romance, and in 1986 they married. For Christine, this relationship symbolized renewal and stability after years lived publicly under emotional strain. Eddie became both partner and collaborator, co-writing several Fleetwood Mac songs with her, including Little Lies, one of the band's enduring hits. She often spoke warmly of their creative partnership, describing it as a rare union of love and artistry that inspired fresh musical ideas. Unlike earlier relationships shaped by fame and chaos, this chapter initially felt balanced and calm. Christine stepped back slightly from the relentless pace of touring that had once defined her life. However, over time, maintaining both marriage and professional collaboration introduced new pressures. By the late 1990s, after decades in the spotlight, she felt an increasing desire for privacy and solitude. The reunion album The Dance in 1997 briefly returned her to global attention, but it also clarified her need for change. Following the tour, she chose to step away from the band entirely and moved to Kent, England, seeking peace away from public expectations.